Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make this Bubu dress that has this line in the center. So basically I just folded my fabric into two. As you can see, it's folded into two here, just the way Akara fabric comes by 46. So there is the width of the fabric, but I folded it into two. So now I have the front and the back panel, so I'm cutting the two of them together. And then the length I have here is basically from my shoulder to wherever you want it to stop, maybe my ankle, and then plus extra 1.5. So in total what I have there is 29, right? 29 inches. That's the length of the fabric. For this you might need more, a little, maybe 3 yards, or it just depends on the length you're working with. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to divide my shoulder by 2. My shoulder is 16, divided by 2 is 8, right? And then after that I'm going to go ahead and insert my sleeve length, whatever you want the sleeve length to be. For this I'm working with 10 inches. You can work with the full width of the fabric, but I don't want it that long, so I've marked it 10 inches. So now the next thing you're going to do, it depends on you. You can do from your shoulder to your chest, to your nipple as the armhole, right? Or you can just do basic 10 inches, but it depends on you, from your shoulder to your nipple line. So for me that's at 12 inches, so I marked it. And then the next thing I marked was from my shoulder to my hip, which is at 25. I've gone ahead and marked that too. So now the next line you're going to mark is going to be your the length of the dress, which is basically just the full fabric. There's no waist here. I'm not going to be marking any waistline here because this is a long Bubu dress, so it's going to be just straight all the way down. So then after that, the next thing you're going to do now is to come up to that nipple line that you marked. That is going to divide your bust by 4 and then add extra 4 inches. You can do extra 3 inches. It depends on you, on how big you want this Bubu to be. You can do extra 5 inches, but you just remember you're still going to take away your seam allowance from it. So I'm doing extra 4 inches. When I take away 1 inch, it's going to be like 3 inches room because I don't want it too big. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that now. And then you come down to your hip, the same thing, hip divided by 4 plus extra 3 inches, right? Some people even just mark, once they do their bust divided by 4 plus extra 4 inches or whatever they are marking, they just rule a straight line down, right? But for me, I'm going to do my hip divided by 4 plus the extra 4 inches, and then you're just going to extend that line to the end. So guys, in my previous tutorial, someone was asking me why didn't I come down 1 inch on shoulder slope here. Guys, it doesn't really matter. For me, I noticed that it doesn't matter. Instead, it just makes the opening of my sleeve narrow, right? So I can do without it, and I can also not do without this. If I want, I will use it. If I want, I will not use it. You understand? So you can come down here 1 inch of shoulder slope if you want to, right? And then you're going to connect it. Mark 3 inches of neckline here. But whenever I make this is normal when you're making a kimono dress or anything kimono, you always come down 1 inch here. But what I noticed with this Bubu that is big, everything is big, so there's no difference of one shoulder slope or no shoulder slope. It will still fall in place, so it will not matter. So that's why sometimes I don't do it. I just go ahead and just so close the shoulder because it's already big. It will just fall in place. It still looks nice. But whenever I come down 1 inch here, it now makes the opening of my sleeve a little bit narrow because now that 1 inch is gone. And then if my opening of my sleeve would have been this big, I've taken away 1 inch. Then I take away half an inch again when I'm sewing it. So it closes it up a little bit, which is not the look I'm going for, right? So now I'm just going to connect the shoulder slope for the sake of this video and the person that asked me the last time. You see it will still look the same. So I'm going to just connect it here. And then now the next thing you're going to do, if you want, you can just come down here and do like 9 inches for your opening of this here. Or if you want, you can do 10 inches. Or if you want, you can just go straight and use from your shoulder to your nipple line. But if you feel like the opening might be too much for you, take it up 1 inch before that, right? It doesn't matter. So I'm going to do 1 inch before that, which is going to be at somewhere here. And then I'm just going to give it a curve. Guys, I'm not trying to complicate this here. That's why the previous tutorial I just went ahead and just used the whole straight thing. But this is still just the same thing. I'm going to just link the previous tutorial that I used before here. So now all I have to do is just to cut. So guys, like we said before, my sleeve length stops here, which is at 10 inches somewhere here. So what I'm going to do is just to rule a straight line down. But normally for a kimono, the sleeve length is this opening of this sleeve is never straight. You always go in 1 inch from the end and then blend it in this way. This is what a kimono end always looks like. It goes in straight. It doesn't go in. It goes in at least by 1 inch. Not that this one will not work, but a perfect kimono will always come in at least 1 inch at the lower part here. So now what I'm going to do is just to go cut this part off. So now what I'm going to do here is just to go down by at least 1 inch or 1.5 depending on you. So I'm going to mark 1 inch of neckline, cut that out, and then cut out this shoulder slope. Now that it's done, I'm going to separate it. So one is for the front and one is for the back. So I'm going to remove one for the back and then this one is for the front. So guys, the next thing you're going to do is I'm going to take away 1 inch from this center part here. You see, I went ahead and marked 1 inch from this center all the way down. Some people even do up to 2 inches. If you want the fabric that you're going to be inserting to be wider, right, you can do up to 2 inches, but I'm not making it too wide, right? So that's why I took away 1 inch from here. So now for the neckline, remember this is the front. You're going to mark where you want the neckline to be. If you want, you can still use 1 inch above this nipple line again, which for me is shoulder to 11. If you want, you can do 9 inches. If you want, you can do any one you want, you can do. And then you're going to curve it and blend it into this like a V neckline, right? I'm going to just connect it all the way into this part here. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out this part. I'm going to cut from here all the way to the end. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and folded mine. This is what I'm working with here. So the width I have here is, if I open it up, is 4 inches. If I close it, is 2 inches on this side and 2 on the other side, right? So what you're going to do, you see, I've joined as much as I think I would need. And then I'm just going to take it. Guys, there are 3 ways to join this, right? One method can be just find the center here, right? And just sew the whole thing completely. Take it down all the way. Just keep sewing it. The way you're sewing the 3 layers, that's the folded one, and then this one. You're sewing everything all the way to the end, right? You just sew it. And then once you're done, it is going to flip in this way. And then this one is going to flip in this way by the center. And then you use half an inch and take it and just top stitch one of them on top of the other using half an inch, right? Half an inch or even quarter of an inch all the way to where you want it to stop by the neckline. That is one method. The second method you can use is you stitch it inside, right? You stitch it from the inside, like you take, once you've sewn this side, you've sewn this on this side, you've sewn this other one on this side, then you use half an inch again to sew it, but this time around you're sewing it inside of it, right? So guys, that is the method I used for this one. You see, there's like quarter of an inch that we used to sew this one here. You see, sew it on the inside this way, quarter of an inch to sew it. You see, this is what it looks like. You just hold the edge and then sew it all the way down. This is the second method. And then getting to the end, remember this one is going to have a slit. You stop before where you, maybe by your knee or wherever you want it to stop, you stop the stitch there, right? That's the second method. But the third method now. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and finished this here. So you see, all I did was just to sew it down the way it is now. So the next thing, you see, for the sleeve, I also added this black to it. So the same fabric I used for this here, the same length, everything is the same width is what I use. So basically how you're going to sew it is, you see how the end of this is. So I sewed it from the inside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it out this way on top of it. And then I'm going to top stitch it at the end here this way. So you're going to top stitch it at the end. So now let me show you from this one. You see what it looks like. You see, I top stitched it, and then once you finish that, you just close up the side. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side now. And then once you finish it, it depends on you. You're going to measure from the shoulder to where you want the V to stop, right? So it depends on you. Let's say you want to do 11 inches or so. how deep you want it to go. Then you're going to take this now, and then you're going to mark 11 inches wherever that is, and then you're going to take this and place it very close, like by 1/4 of an inch on top of each other, and then you're going to sew it down this way all the way to the end, right? But you're going to stop. It depends on you where you want to stop. If you want, you can stop 15 inches before the end, or just measure from your shoulder to your knee. Wherever you want the slit to stop, that's where you're going to stop, and then you fold the edge of your cloth, and that's basically it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up mine and bring it back. So guys, another thing you can also do is to add a pocket. It depends on you if you want to add the if you want to add a pocket to yours, but basically it's just before you get to the hip, somewhere here from your shoulder to maybe 2 inches below your waist, you open it up and insert a pocket there. So I'm just going to go ahead now and finish up mine, and then I'll bring it back so you guys can see. So guys, this is it here. It's done. As you can see, I've finished it, and you see how at the end here, you see how much I used. If you look closely, you'll see this is just at the very tip here that I sewed this on top of it, like just barely on top this way. See the top part also, you see. If you come up here, you see how much I sewed on top of each other. So just a tiny bit. So if you want to add a button, you can add button of different colors to it, just at the center part here. Maybe add one here, and just like that for design, you understand? So that's basically what it looks like. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.